got some great information for you, some inspirational messages and things to share with you. And we're going to talk about the keys to being a consistent musician. All right. So while I'm waiting for to get started here, just want to make a few announcements coming up. Hey, what's going on? We got more coming in. As you come in, just share where you're watching from in the chat area. I'd love to know who we got watching. So some great things coming up. I'm going to be doing, what the next thing is the 28th. We got the Jazz Wine Train happening, and that's happening in Grapevine. So just look it up, Jazz Wine Train. We'll be playing outside on the platform, playing some tunes, and then we'll split up to a car on the trains playing while we go from Grapevine into Fort Worth, and then we'll come back. We do that every year. This time we're going to do Friday, the next 3 Fridays, so you can check that out. March 28th, April 4th, and April 11th. And that's happening. After that, the 2nd, we're doing a State of the Texas Tenor event, which is going to be at Salmon Center. So you have to go and check out Salmon Center for the arts if you want to find out if tickets are available for that. That's me, Jason Davis, Shelly Carroll, the Texas Tenors. And then I'll be headed to Baton Rouge to do a performance at the Mentorship Theater in Baton Rouge on the 9th. So, yeah, cool stuff happening. But let's get started, y'all. Let's get started. So now this is going to be a new series here that I'll be doing daily. And I thought this would be a great time to do it. And let me just pull up my little outline here so I can go through everything right. But yeah, I thought this would be great. I was just toying around with some tools to help me get organized, and I thought it'd be great to go ahead and get started, dive out there. You know, I'm doing these things privately in terms of meeting with my students. I'm also doing streams here and there sporadically, but I was like, I have to be consistent because I'm working on finishing my book, the new book, which is going to be The Consistent Musician. So, all right, let's get started. So I want to thank you once again. And today's topic is going to be talking about the keys to being a consistent musician. So the way that I'm going to structure this, I'm going to, present today's topic, and I'll talk about some practice tips and some encouragement, and just share some different things with you. So that's going to be the format and flow of how I do these streams. Okay, so let's dive right in. So today's topic, I'm going to talk about, the theme is visibility equals stewardship. And so one of the things I listen to, one of the persons I check out a lot is Myron Golden. And he talks about how, if people can't find you, they can't follow you. And so a lot of his motivation and teaching for why and how he does what he does, he gets it from Solomon's business plan. So it's a great resource and tool to be able to extract principles from the Bible to help you to be productive and walk out what God has put on your heart. And that's what it's all about. That's the key, with today's message is being a good steward over the things that he's given you. So the scripture reference that I'm going to use it comes from Habakkuk 2 and 3. Okay. Now this is the Message Bible. I wanted to use a Message Bible because it really speaks. It really will, hit home with you. with us. And it says, and then God answered, write this, write what you see. All right, write it out. It says, write it out in big block letters so that it can be read on the run. The vision message is the vision message is a witness pointing to what's coming. Wow. It aches for the coming. It can hardly wait, and it doesn't lie. If it seems slow in coming, wait. It's on its way. It will come right on time. This reads very different. I'm so used to, write the vision, make it plain upon tablets. He may, so that he may run that readeth it, though it tarry, wait, for it will surely come, And so, but this right here just confirms that whatever God says, it's coming, and it's going to happen too, with or without you. And really, it depends on our trust and faith to really, to trust and believe that it's coming. So let me give you all a practical example of what happened with me. I wrote a lot of tunes that are gathered together for the Vision CD. I did a project that I released back in 2003. It was like 2003, 2004 in there. I got married in 2003, but I wrote a bunch of songs, and here recently I revisited them because I'm going, like I said, going to Baton Rouge to play, and we're going to play some of those songs from the Vision. And it's like I remember just really being so adamant about getting that album done, and I wanted to call it The Vision because it was connecting with Habakkuk and the story with Habakkuk, because the context was with Habakkuk, he was just questioning God and like, why do we have to struggle? God's people have to struggle in the midst of Babylon, and like the people of Judah, it was a lot of stuff that was going on. It was sin in the camp, and then of course the people of God were being oppressed, and it was like the bad people was flourishing. And you can identify with a lot of what's going on now. It's like the people who shouldn't be prospering are the ones that are, and then the good people are having to suffer because of it. And so God's reply was just write the vision, make it plain, put it up to where you can see it, and though it tarry, wait on it because it'll surely come. It's for an appointed time. And so back in 2003, I released my album, The Vision, recorded it in Baton Rouge, actually New Orleans, and some in Fort Worth. And so just being reminded of that, it made me think about how I made my progress and was so driven to complete projects and practice. And so I took Habakkuk 2 and 3 literally for when it came to get things done. And so I would type out what I wanted to practice, and I would print it out and post it in my wall. And so I would wake up, go to my room, and I would look at what I had that I need to practice on every day. And so I would be reminded of that. And it was through my work, that my work ethic, consistency, and everything basically that made it, encouraged me to practice and to keep, progressing. And so also the vision, when you think about when you pray and you ask God, there's like something happens. You pray, you ask, You wait, you receive, and then once you receive, then you have to obey. You have to apply it. You got to act upon it, because your faith is known by your works. Because without faith, without the works, people don't know your faith. People know your faith by your works. When it comes to salvation, we're not saved by our works. We're saved through faith. But after you have faith and say that you believe and trust God, it actually has to be demonstrated by your work. And so what happens with that is, like, as God speaks things to you, then you have a responsibility to walk it out and then trust that he's going to deliver based on what he said. But I seen, and this is personal testimony or just situations where a lot of times there's nobody to blame but ourselves if we feel that things are being delayed, or we feel that things are not happening the way that we think they should. And a lot of times it's our fault. We have to, take responsibility for our actions and take responsibility for the tasks and the obligations that we have that God told us. We can get distracted by what's going on in our environment, what's happening in the news and culture and everything, and we can get distracted and discouraged and feel like, man, I'm struggling, or feel like, man, God, where you at? But a lot of times it's us. We haven't done what he told us to do. We're getting distracted and looking externally on things when we really need to look at what he said do and just be consistent in that. And so that really spoke to me, even going back and being reminded of my own CD and listening to those songs and trying to get back to where I was 20-something years ago. And even today, it's like a lot of the things that I am doing and want to do is really dependent upon me better executing and presenting what I've always done. So the key about consistency is, like, it's not about, I always say, it's not about being perfect, but it's about being consistent, whereas you're continuously chipping away, you're trying, you're seeking after things, you're reaching, you're studying. And so what happens in the process, you get better. And so I've done albums, I've done a lot of gigs, I've done a lot of teaching, I've done live streams, I've have a membership site, and my sound musician program. So I've done a lot of things that are all motivated from the vision and the things that I've been inspired to do. And so you really don't realize or even pay attention to, like, challenges when you're so caught up in just trying to finish the work, the original vision that was given. You're just working, trying to complete it. And so I think the key is when you keep your eyes focused on the Lord and your own process, there's no competition. The competition is yourself, because you want to be a better version of yourself, and you want to fine tune the things that you're weak in. So if you're constantly looking at yourself, evaluating, and you're assessing what you need to do to make yourself better, then you're able to consistently grow. But when you're distracted and you're looking at all this external stuff going on and things that are outside of your control, then you slow down. You kind of, you'll slow down your process, and then even the enemy can get you on a total different path because you're not focusing on what you need to focus on. Okay, so but yeah, so let's go into the next segment. This is what we're gonna just it's a lesson that comes from the Christian Musician. So the Christian Musician book is the book that I put out originally in 2015, and the subtitle is "Learn What Your Real Gift Is and How to Succeed with and Beyond Your Music." And so here's the thing that's so beautiful about this. This is not on yet. But here's the thing that's so beautiful about this is your gift is not your playing. It's not music. Okay? It's not. So I got a chapter that says dispelling, this is chapter 1, dispelling the myth of music being a gift. All right? And your gift is not your music. It is the way God has wired your mind. All right? So it's the way he wired your mind to think and to lead. Let's think about that. Let's talk about that. So initially, as kids, we get fascinated with an instrument or a sound, or we get fascinated at music, artists playing on stage, doing various things. We hear things and it's so intriguing. So we get excited and we want to pursue that. But we don't realize initially how God uses that as a tool to where we're applying these principles consistently to be able to grow on a musical instrument. And then we're looking at performing in front of people or being able to produce music to release for people to enjoy, for different occasions. We think about all of those things. And what happens because we're inspired, we'll just go after whatever it is that we see, whether it's the songs we learn, whether it's the gigs we want to play, the stages that we want to be on, the groups that we want to play with, or the artists that we want to be like. We just kind of all take that in and we pursue it. And so in the process, there's these things, these areas in our brain that are strengthened and sharpened. And so as a musician, we think different. We're unique. And so the process when you're learning music is very engaging for the brain, for when it comes to audibly, motor cortex, audio cortex, visual cortex. So you're exercising a lot. And so, of course, we got to be regular human beings too. We have to work and manage housing and got to eat and all of the basic stuff that everybody else has to deal with. But because we chose to grow on an instrument and practice and all of those things, we have a unique way that we approach things based on the time that we've spent maturing on an instrument. And so what the revelation was that I got was that our musical ability, a lot of times people in church and people who hear you, if you are gifted, people will say that you're just a gifted musician, like music is your gift. And so I think it's just, I understand what people mean, but as I grew up and learned more, I understood that it was actually just a medium or an avenue that my giftedness was able to be displayed through. And so when I always look at David was an example where he was a great king. To be a king, you got to be a leader. You got to be a great leader. You got to have good judgment. You have to have a gift of administration. But he was also a musician as well. So he was made good decisions, and then he had a heart after God's own heart. I talked about this yesterday, actually. But all of these characteristics and the integrity that he had and the qualities that he had everything to do with the time he spent with God. So God can use you and your musical ability, but he also has more that he wants to do. And so But it takes maturity. It takes seeking him, trusting him. And just like now, how even my epiphany moment and doing some of the things that I'm doing now are transitioning into the things that I'm doing now with doing more speaking, doing more live streams where I'm going to be presenting messages along with lessons, music, and all of those things. This is like just manifesting how I'm coming into the realization that my message is just as important, not just sonically, but my message of how to operate and function with the gifting and the calling that I have. That's important and valuable. Because another thing that I saw that Myron Golden talked about too as well. He talked about the 4 levels of value, and the first level was actually implementation. That was like work, like you actually exchanging your time for money. The second level was management, where you're managing people who work, and you get paid more than the actual people workers if you're a manager of some sort. The third level was communication. And so communication is very valuable because you're able to create or spark value or ignite things in others through your message. And so the highest or the top one, the fourth one was ideas. And so if you think about people who are multi-billionaires, they get paid for the way they think, their ideas. People who do movie scripts and things like that, they get paid a lot of money because of the ideas that they come up with. So, but anyway, all of that is just showing how God created us in his own image. It always goes back to him, how he created us in his own image and likeness. So we'll have abilities to be able to do a lot of different things, but ultimately, in order for us to do anything, it requires our mind. So if you look at how you think and then you learn how to leverage that and even realize you have intellectual property, then it'll open you up to a lot, seeing yourself in a bigger light than just being a musician. So I know a lot of musicians struggle with that, to where when it comes to just making money and being able to take care of their family, because they're limited to thinking that they just got to make all their money through playing gigs. And so it's just because they've not had the training and the teaching, and they don't know how to do anything like another way or a better way, because they've kind of become a victim of the system, and people, you have to outsource, like what I did, for example, I would look at info marketers or people who were information marketers, like network marketers, and people who were advertising through YouTube, and people who were leaders and, sharing a motivational message, creating programs, creating mentorship programs and different things like that, because they were able to motivate people regardless of their industry. And so I saw that early 2000s, and so it really inspired me to apply a lot of that to myself. And so because I was, exposed to people like Robert Kiyosaki and looking into entrepreneurship and being, self-employed and understood the 4 quadrants where you got your employment, self-employment, investor, and then business owner. Because I started learning those things, it kind of opened me up to a lot more possibilities, right? All right. So, yeah, that's good. That's a little excerpt from the book. Let's go to the next part. In this segment, I'm going to share with you how to be consistent with your tone. So here's the music part. All right, so how does this all work together with even music? All right, so, and I'm gonna use something simple as your sound, right? Because sound is everything. That's what this is about. I was telling a student the other day, I had a private lesson, and I was telling him, because his sound was pretty good. And so I was like, man, your sound is nice, man. And I was just telling him, like, if you sound good, if you got a great tone, then that's more appealing. I mean, you really connect with people. You people feel that, even if you don't have the chops. If you got a good sound, it's like almost, the chops. You don't really have to have that much, chops. I've heard people who don't have a great sound, but have a lot of chops, and it gets annoying to hear. You gotta have a great sound. That's like first. It's hot, so I need to find this thing to turn this thing off. But this is what we can do to start off with in terms of sound. Play long tones, long tones. So, and so even with that, that might be too loud with this mic. Let me, I'm gonna turn, well, I guess I can. It's gonna kind of be loud either way. I have to turn my mic down. I'll try not to play so loud. That's what I'll do. How about that? All right. So I was telling him the point for playing long tones is you get a chance to feel what it takes in your embouchure, in your diaphragm, to get a nice consistent sound. And what you want to do as we run out of air, you still want to keep it consistent. You want to keep it consistent. I'm trying to find my thing to turn this deal off. But anyway, I'll figure it out. So you wanna be consistent. So I'm able to hold it out, and even though I'm running out of air, I'm still keeping the tone consistent. And so that's very helpful with your to be able to control the horn, the notes. And you start at the bottom because that requires the most air, when you're actually at the low end of the horn. And so you can play it loud or play it full sound, or you can put subtone on it. It just depends on how you want to practice. So the full sound is okay. The subtone would be so even in something simple like this lesson, it's all about consistency. So my sound doesn't need to fluctuate. It doesn't need to sound like it's all over the place as I hold the tone. That's the lesson. So I don't want, or you shouldn't be doing like this. All of that. It shouldn't happen. You should have a consistent tone all throughout as you're holding it. So take a deep breath, make sure you're sitting up, your diaphragm is tight, and get a nice quality sound. And you hold it long. One more time, I'm gonna do the subtone. yeah, that's the lesson. Very simple, but very powerful, because when you get the sound, and you get your embouchure, your diaphragm, your airstream, and all of that. Once all that's where it needs to be, when you play melodies, stuff will sound really good. Let's see a melody. What's a melody? I have control over my sound because I've worked on over time, long tones. If I play something, uh, uh, I'm messing up the melody. And when you go down to get those lower notes, they come out because your embouchure, airstream, and everything is used to the practice, and the muscles are used to doing what they need to do to get those notes to come out. So anyway, that's kind of like a lesson on, sound and being consistent. All right, y'all. This brings us to the next section. And so a lot of what we do from week to week, this is a plug for my Sound Musician Mentorship Program. So we meet twice a week, and the first meeting we do improvisational things, jazz vocabulary things to help you, expand your vocabulary. If you're an instrumentalist, you don't necessarily have to be a saxophonist. If you are one that wants to grow in your vocabulary, you can definitely be a part. It's called the Sound Musician Mentorship Program. And so we also cover music business, and we'll talk about different things that we're working on. I'll give some things that I'm doing and looking to complete, and we'll just talk and help give each other accountability to follow through with things, and community. And so this is like a component too. This is very important to be consistent. You can't be an island. You can't be by yourself. You got to have a mentor, and you have to have community and accountability. And so while that's working in the background, or, people see what you do, your progress or the lack thereof, based on your infrastructure. And so you have to have mentors, you have to have a community, you have to have accountability to help you to follow through with the things that you said you wanted to do. And so that's very important. I mean, even, with being a believer, it's one thing to be by yourself and seeking the Lord and praying, but also you need fellowship. You need to be a part of a church body and have a pastor. You know what I'm saying? All of that helps for you to really thrive and to really continue to move and grow. So that's what we offer with the Sound Musician Mentorship Program. You can get the information by going to letsgetsound.com. And go to, and you can set up a time and we can meet, jump on Zoom, and get a chance to see where you are and what you're looking to accomplish. So that's a plug for the Sound Musician Mentorship Program. All right. So yeah, we almost out of here, y'all. We got a second. I wanted to talk and encourage you. If you have been one that feel that you have not been as productive as you needed, or you've had some problems, some setbacks, or you just don't know how to move forward. I mean, I've talked to different musicians who are very creative, very talented, and they just stuck, you know? And so here's my encouragement. Like, first of all, realize that what you have is valuable. Your voice is valuable. And realize that you're created in the image and likeness of God. And He has something for you. I think what happens a lot of times, we're amplifying the wrong message. I've heard this said, you know, faith and fear are both beliefs, but faith is believing in the thing that you want to happen, you know, or being hopeful for something good to happen. Fear is believing that something bad will happen, or something that you're not wanting to happen will happen. So it's a belief, like both are beliefs or beliefs. So what you have to do, you have to, first of all, listen to the word of the one who created you, not the one who is against you, not the one who currently fights against God. You don't want to believe in or let fear paralyze you, because if you are, like the scriptures say, you know, he that feareth has not been made perfect in love. You know, he that feareth, you know, it brings torment. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you realize that God loves you, he desires for you to prosper. He desires for you to have an expected end. But once again, you have to write it. You got to write it down, you know, get it out of your head, see it every day. Let that inspire you. Let that motivate you to be consistent as you focus on what he said. He's faithful to complete the work he began in you. You got to have the word to help to reinforce what he put inside of you. That's another one, the reinforcement. I would write songs based on these revelations. So I wrote a song called The Reinforcement, and it's based on 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. And so the tune was, uh, it's been a while. But anyway, it was a killing tune. And I think we put it out. It's on the Introducing Quamon Fowler re-release. But I have another version that is actually faster, and it's nice. It's killing. We did it like in 2007. But I write songs based on these inspirations, these scriptures, and the songs help me. It reminds me. It's like pillars and documented times throughout my life where God gave me that jolt. You know, I acted upon a vision or inspiration, and I created a song, or I put out an album that was a testament of where I was at that particular time. That helps you to keep moving and pushing on too. That helps you to be consistent, you know? And the beautiful thing about all of this stuff, all of this is, you know, heavily dependent on the way God created me to function. You know, everything that I do is that I release, that I publish, is based on how I think, how God has wired me. And so you get confidence uh, through focusing on your process, focusing on uh, what God told you to do, and you can do things the way He told you to do it. So don't get caught up in how other people are doing things, and discount or discredit or think that you're not valid. That's a lie. You can do it. You can do it. You just have to focus on what He said do and just be consistent. So that's my encouragement. Uh, Also know that in Galatians, this is Galatians 6 and 9, it says, so let's not allow ourselves to be fatigued in doing good. This is the Message translation, so it reads more different, like it's more descriptive. All right. So yeah, let's not be fatigued in doing good. It says, at the right time, we will harvest a good crop if we don't give up or quit. Now, mind you, these messages and what I'm getting, this is for me. If you get something for it, great. From it, great. But this is for me. I'm pushing myself to be consistent, to get better with this whole thing. So I'm excited. So yeah, that brings us to the end. I want to invite you to definitely get the book, The Christian Musician. You can find it. I think I put my saxophone on top. You can get a physical copy if you want to, or you can order, listen to it. It's on Audible. It's on Amazon. Look for it, The Christian Musician by Quamon Fowler. And also make sure you subscribe to my channel, the YouTube channel, Quamon Fowler. Also join the mentorship program. If you're not a member already, go ahead and go to shed.quamonfowler.com. All right, and just tune in daily. These will get better. My flow will get better. But yeah, I'm going to do it every day at 11 a.m. So make sure you check us out. And we'll get started again tomorrow at 11. So let's see how we did on my time. Okay, it's 11:46. So yeah, it was a good session. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, how you like the format. And also you can share some things that you would like me to hit in terms of topics.